this is being done all over the planet, right? Trees have to mature. They still have to suck the carbon out of it, right? Do we understand how it works? They suck the carbon, they use it, right? They contain it within themselves, right?
That's exactly accurate.
So the mere fact that a tree takes time to grow and be much more efficient means there's still a fucking delay in the removal of the carbon out of the atmosphere, right?
You have to be you have to be intentionally disingenuous here, dude. Like the fact that they're growing itself is taking the carbon out of the atmosphere. That's how they get bigger. Like that's
Oh
where the
my
carbon
goodness.
goes.
Volden.
Every moment from the tree being planted to its growth at any stage is getting carbon out.
Volden. Trees aren't 100% efficient at taking carbon out of the atmosphere. You do understand that, right?
They don't have to be, because every bit of carbon that they do take out is less carbon that's in the atmosphere. Like how do you not understand?
Do you not understand how this works, Volden? This is what I'm trying to get through to your mind. Trees aren't that efficient. They still take time to grow. We are still pumping more into the atmosphere as they are trying to compensate by sucking it out.
It doesn't matter. You miss my point, dude. You're missing. Like you were right. You were right. They aren't as efficient as other means of getting carbon out of the atmosphere. They're a pretty good one at the time because it's something we can do, and companies knowing that can positively decrease the amount of carbon we're administering out by reducing the positive gain by planting trees. It's a proven science. The fact that you're disagreeing with this is just interesting. But here's the thing.
You don't hear me disagreeing. I'm saying it's inefficient. It's not helping the problem.
It's giving us more time.
It is, Volden. It's not giving... Okay, look. As I was trying to show you that scenario. Okay, let me finish the scenario and tell me if this makes sense to you. Let me see if this makes sense to you, Volden.
If we planted no trees, it would give us no additional time before the end is nigh.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, Volden, let me continue with the scenario that I was trying to...
We planted 1 billion trees, how much time would it give us?
Volden, you still need time for them to grow. You still need a huge amount... What?
They're growing immediately, does it? It immediately starts working. That's what you're not realizing. They don't have to be adults. It's not like, oh, we have to give them resources to mature. That's not how trees work, dude.
It's still... Okay, look, Volden. It still goes back to my scenario. One tree sucks 1 liter out per year. And we're pumping 200 liters per second into the atmosphere. Does that make sense? Does that balance it out? Does that even mean that we're making a dent?
Yes, it does, because that's how dents work. They add up. That's what I was just explaining with the whole bashing your head up against the wall. If a lot of companies are, it's not just this one tree thing, dude. It's also, we're finding different methods of powering things that are more beneficial, that don't require fossil fuels to lower.
How much time is it going to How much time is it going to take to switch over to all those more efficient fucking systems, Volden? How much time?
However long it takes. I don't know yet.
However long it takes. Oh my goodness. This is why I asked you to answer my question, if it's a reasonable amount of time. Or is it going to be too late for actual change to make a difference? What?
The longer we wait, the bigger that snowball gets. But it can still be stopped. You're suggesting that it can't be stopped, and you're wrong. You're just wrong.
Okay, so let me continue with my scenario. All right, so we've got the trees that you're talking about, right? And we're still pumping the atmosphere full of stuff, right?
Sure.
Okay, so those trees require certain things to grow and all that kind of stuff, right? It's not just carbon that they require, right? Yes?
They require dead things. They require do you know how plants grow, dude?
I do. This is why I'm asking you if you understand they require more than just carbon, right?
Uh-huh.
All right. So for perfect.
Nutrients in the soil, and sometimes not even that.
Okay, so perfect. So let me continue with the scenario. So let's say there are more and more heat waves, less and less rainfall. Do you think those trees are going to grow at the rate that's typically normal for the conditions that is beneficial to them, if the climate changes too drastically and too quickly.
To your own admission, trees are an inefficient method to to suck carbon out of the atmosphere. I agree with that. As far as the time scale is concerned, I don't know. I think that we have plenty of time before forests become like. I don't think there's going to be a museum where like we have the last tree in existence. That I don't think is going to happen. Plants, in particular, have lasted on this planet through every catastrophe.
Okay, so you have to follow me on my little scenario, okay? You have to follow me, forget what's going through your brain, and follow my scenario. So, if that's the case, and these plants can't grow as fast as normal, what happens then? They become less efficient yet again, right?
No, that's not how trees work.
What? What?
All right, so
what?
growing slower. If you're saying they're growing slower, and that way, and so you're saying that they're sucking less carbon and storing less carbon within their trunk and leaves. You are right. That's true. That's not what's happening. Like across the world, that's not what's happening. We're having heat waves. Yeah, you're right about that. We're having forest fires. Yes, you're right about that. We're also growing forests in the Sahara, not the Sahara, in the Gobi. The Gobi Desert, the one in China. Like they're actively. India is another one of these like hotspot locations in which like the increase in forestation in those environments in the last 20 years has been like 25 to 30% of their landmass. That's huge. Huge. China's a big place, fucking dude. It's really big, and they're learning sciences and how we could do this and literally terraform our own planet. We're learning that shit. Like at some point we will be able to step into, for example, the Sahara and like go like we don't like this. Let's change it.
That is very optimistic, but it's not the reality of things right now, okay? I'm trying to have you follow me on this little scenario that I'm playing out for you, right? Just follow me here, right? We have greater what?
It really it's troubling to me because like if we're suggesting, and you know this is true, we are suggesting and scientists have methods to terraform Mars, multiple methods to terraform. We also have methods to do the moon, Venus, Titan, Europa, different planets, Jupiter. Hell, we have considered methods to terraform a gas giant. There are methods that scientists have approached that are capable within our own technological.
No, none of that is possible at the moment, Volden.
It literally is currently possible. The difference is like money. We just don't have the money to do it. All the technology exists to make it.
No, and yes. No.
Yes, you are wrong. It does exist.
Okay, wait, 1 second. How are you gonna? Okay, I really want us to go back to the Voldenite thing, but how would you terraform the moon?
Are you kidding me? All we have to do. Okay, so there's we need. You know what? I'm gonna give you a source because I don't like want to take up the time to like I don't.
Okay.
Like that song.
Okay, fine. Fine.
Just like the song. It's not my.
These are hypothetical scenarios that they can potentially do to so-called terraform the moon. The mere fact that it isn't going to have an ionosphere to protect the so-called environment you would be terraforming it into means that it's going to be pointless, right?
You can get one, dude. There are methods to approach that you can achieve what you're saying that it's missing in such a way that you wouldn't need it going forward. We can also increase the atmosphere to the point where we have normal gravity. We can literally do that. There are methods to do that. Like with a railgun on the planet, we can shoot all of the carbon that's in our planet in gaseous tanks that explode on the surface with a railgun, just a railgun. No shooting, no rockets required, no additional carbon emissions, just electronic propulsion on a railgun on a mountain that can shoot it up into outer space. Already a thing that can be possible. Just have to make money to build it. And that could shoot all the carbon in little canisters onto the moon. They explode on impact and start terraforming the planet with all of the carbon. It would create a greenhouse effect around the planet. miniature moon, which is a planet in its essence, in such a way that once the atmosphere pressure is stabilized, it can also start. We can have chemical reactions that can increase the oxygen and nitrogen that is required on its surface. We can. There are so many ways. Like, we already know how to do this. It's just money and time. We know how to do these things. And what I'm saying, the reason I brought this up is that I'm saying that there are scientists that could do the same thing on, for example, the Gobi Desert, which is happening. They're already doing it. And they could also suggest to do it for the Sahara very quickly. They're going to have methods to show other individuals how to do this at their own home. Like, imagine like Arab nations that can benefit from their deserts no longer being fucking deserts. And that's technology that we're creating right now. It's already being developed. It's already like, I'm really upset.
You do understand that this is on a planet that already has an atmosphere and already has ecosystems, right? You do understand this is how, like, there's a difference between the moon and the Earth, right? There's a huge difference, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, even if they use all this technology to so-called undesert a desert, there's still the issue that, it is on a planet that already has an ecosystem that can handle such changes, right?
Right, but it developed as well from a barren planet as well. Do you understand the evolution of our planet? Do you know that like other planets in our solar system also used to have atmospheres that were very similar to ours?
All majority of the planets
In
do
our own
have an
solar system.
atmosphere. Mars has an atmosphere.
Yeah, well, it's similar to ours as well. One in which could be beneficial and supportive of life, in fact. Like the fact that, like, hell, there's a
I
moon currently that is like possible to sustain
to
life.
have life. I think it's Europa, right? I think it's the
Titan, Europa, there's Io.
Titan. I
Io,
don't think Titan is one. Titan's atmosphere does can support biological life like ours.
not like ours, but it can have a different form of life. But this is
Okay,
literally.
we're going way beyond
Yeah.
what is necessary. Okay, so follow me yet again with my scenario, right? Now, my scenario where we kind of jumped off is where I'm saying, like, if there's not enough rain, not enough soil exchange and all that kind of stuff, and these plants can't be much more efficient, or they grow slower and all that kind of stuff. That means they're not sucking the carbon out of the atmosphere as fast and all that kind of stuff, right? That makes
Yeah,
sense?
what they need.
Huh?
Guess what they need to support all that? They need our trash.
What?
Literally, we could throw away all our shit and fix that problem. So, like, I don't know what you're saying. We don't have enough to feed the plants. They literally eat off of decaying matter. Like we can throw our trash, cardboard materials, plastics, even if we create them properly, which we discovered, by the way, we found a way to make plastics that are biodegradable and
Volden?
beneficial for trees. Like I don't see how you're like we could feed this problem with trash with another problem. We
No.
can fix the problem with the problem and have two solutions.
Okay, so that was a lot to take in. I don't think you do understand decomposition requires time and requires like bacterias. It requires still another form of ecosystem to actually decompose and turn that stuff into nutrients that could be reintroduced into the environment. You understand that, right? So just the idea of you saying that we could feed them with our trash is kind of kind of idiotic, but not completely.
It's not, because that's again how growth works. If we have an immediate solution, like seriously, that's what composting is. Like,
Okay,
I have a
so
garden. Do you have a
okay,
garden? Do you have a garden? Do you have a garden?
do I have a garden? No, I do not have a garden.
Okay, I have a garden. I'm learning some things. I have a black thumb. I don't have a green thumb. I don't know too much. My wife knows a little bit more than I do, and I'm learning some things.
Okay,
And composting's a thing, dude. Like, we can, like, eggshells and cardboard and coffee
Volden.
grounds and all the trash we end up
Yes.
throwing
Okay,
away
Volden.
is an immediate benefit
Vol-
towards the trees that are sustaining us in such a way that you could fix one issue with another.
okay, so Volden, those things still require as another little small ecosystem to convert them back into something that's nutrient rich for plants, right? You
That
get that I'm
ecosystem
saying?
is also
Okay,
beneficial.
so you
That
can't
ecosystem is
use
also beneficial to the plant.
okay, so the problem with that is that you can't continuously use shit that we manufacture and produce stuff. Like you
Sure you
can't
can.
you no, because all those things, let's say milk cartons and all that kind of stuff, all those cardboards have plastics in them. They have
They don't have to, dude. They don't have to. You're making an argument assuming that the world has to stay the way it is, and you're wrong because it's already changing. There are spoons that are biodegradable that have a seed in them that every time you eat it
Volden.
and throw it away, it plants a fucking tree somewhere. Like literally, you're wrong, and like
Volden
it's extremely easy to
still
prove. Like bamboo straws, dude. Like everywhere,
Volden,
everywhere.
those things okay. Those things still require time. Let's say that spoon you're talking about that you throw away, it still takes time to grow into a plant. And it needs to have the environment to be able to grow
It
into a
defeats your
tree
argument. It
or
defeats
whatever,
your
right?
argument.
We're
It defeats
talking.
your argument. There's no more plastic. The plastics you're saying are required in these products are no longer in them in these cases, and therefore your argument is not valid. You can't say that all these things are
Okay,
still going to be a
Volden,
disadvantage when they
Volden,
are better.
Volden. It still takes a
Net
manufacturing.
gain.
It still takes a manufacturing line that produces a lot of carbon dioxide and all these kind of waste to
No, it
create
doesn't.
these products. This is what I'm
Nope.
trying to get through to you. Even
Nope.
if they're what?
You're like, that's what I'm trying to tell you is that you're wrong, because there's also methods of creating like products that don't require carbon emissions to be vastly like we are fixing that as well. You are wrong. It is better today that we administer less emissions in our product creation than we did before. You can imagine like cars, like it used to be like a smog storm out there, and now it's less so, right? Like we are finding better methods to get us places, to do things, to make products, and that's not going to go away. That's getting better.
Okay,
Like
okay,
you're
okay.
just wrong in so many ways.
I'm not wrong in any way, shape, or form. Okay. Now, getting back to my little scenario that I was trying to have you follow along, right? So all those plants have now been starved or have reduced their absorption of carbon by 50% or whatever. We'll say
And we
just
fix that with trash, but go ahead.
okay, sure, sure. Okay. So now the mere fact that they're not doing their job efficiently and we're still cutting down trees to make paper and all this kind of stuff, all these things are accumulating. This is why climate change is an escalating thing. The mere fact that we say that we have a certain amount of time, and that's why I was saying those scientists are estimating and
Cut trees
still
down for paper.
what?
Do you think like companies still cut trees down for? Are you really that like not up to date with things? Most paper companies are transitioning into sapling productions because not only is it more beneficial for them lucratively, but it's also more conscientious on the environment. It's a setup in which they found a way to quickly grow saplings, cut them down, make the paper that fits their distribution network the way they'd like to, and then they grow back in such a way that it's one concise location and they're not deforesting the fucking forests anymore. You are so wrong out of your ignorance that it scares me.
What are you, Volden? You do understand that Canada ships a lot of our lumber to the US to be produced into paper, right?
For companies, what did I just say? Did I say every company is using the sapling production? No, I said that most companies are transitioning towards this. That's the indicator that
Okay,
you don't.
okay. It doesn't matter. Okay, look,
Like,
it does. Volden,
passing the other direction. It's not going the other. It's not going the other. It's not that they found this technology not lucrative and then like said, oh well, fuck it. We have. It's not that they went, oh well, we have to do the environmental approach and like it costs more money, so we're not going to do it, guys. It's the other way. With that industry, sapling production is the most lucrative method to do it. So like, of course, companies are switching over to it. So the fact that companies are getting lumber from like up north is suggesting that you guys are selling it cheaper than we can like make it at saplings, which is actually your fault technically.
Okay. Okay. So So okay, so let's go back to my scenario because we keep getting sidetracked here. Okay, so
Because you're wrong, and you're trying to say a thing that, like, clearly, like, you fix it with
Volden.
trash, and then you want to set up this
Okay,
scenario
so
that's not possible in the like to begin with. So,
okay,
like,
so wait 1 second. Okay, so the
okay,
reason why I'm saying this is an escalating thing, right? So if we keep having forest fires, which keeps pumping more and more carbon into the atmosphere, it causes a chain reaction where it absorbs more of the heat, causing the